What's up, ladies and gentlemen? This is the first time I've ever done this on my channel, and we're going to try it out. We got Jake Brownstein from Eggy in my stomping grounds. Dude, I've played here many times.
I could feel your presence.
So I just wanted to talk about your gear, starting with this because this thing is gorgeous, and I just had Tim on my show this past week, and we talked a lot about your guitar, a little bit about your guitar.
Yeah.
But David Ryan Harris has that too.
Yeah, it was cool because we have same batch, the same batch of guitarists, so that was cool to see. Yeah, absolutely.
The grain is beautiful.
Thank you, man.
What pickups are in there?
So right now it's the Seymour Duncan 59s.
Okay.
But after talking with Tim and stuff, they're doing a proprietary pickup that they're trying out some stuff that they want to have kind of as the mainstay in their guitars.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's by McNelly.
Okay.
And so he'd been trying out a bunch of different stuff, and he's actually sending me a set on Monday.
Oh, tight.
That I'm going to put in here and try it out.
Nice.
Yeah. So I'm excited.
Is that another Canadian builder?
I don't know. I don't know where he's from or anything like that, but I guess they've had some cool pickups that they've made together before.
Right.
And they're trying to settle on something that's like, hey, this is what's best for this guitar.
Okay.
So it's exciting.
Yeah, that's awesome, dude.
Yeah.
And then we're running into, this is custom made for you too, right?
So this is a DGN. So Dan Nisi from Connecticut. He's a guitar builder. He's made a bunch of stuff from Mahali from Twiddle, and Daniel Donato is rocking a Telly from him now.
Oh, okay.
And it's actually the 14th amp he's made. It's a great sounding amp. The first channel is kind of based off of a twin vibe, and then the second channel is more of a train wreck sort of sound.
Oh, killer. So is this channel 1, channel 2?
Yeah, channel 1, channel 2, yeah.
Okay.
Cool. And yeah, we're working on, come next year, building in an effects loop for the amp and stuff, which I'm super stoked on.
Nice. Now, is this your model, or is this a model that he's making?
This is a model that he's making. And he'll have people come in and try it out and kind of tune the amp to their liking. But this is kind of all him. This is a standard thing, and tried out the amp and in the shop, and it sounded so good, and just
man,
really fell in love with it.
Give us a little taste, because what you were doing before sounded awesome.
Thank you, man.
That guitar as well.
Buttery.
Yeah, man.
And
Sounds
I can
great.
kind of get a lot of the stuff out of the pedals. Although the overdrive channel I really like, because I feel like it keeps the essence of. I've used a lot of amps that kind of have the 2-channel thing, and it sounds like a completely different amp. And this kind of sounds more like an extension of what you already have going on.
I was gonna say, there's no harshness to when you put that in. I didn't hear there was an added fizz to the top or end at all. It's just this more of the butteriness that you were talking about.
Yeah, which I like, because I don't know, sometimes, especially if you kick it on mid solo or something, I don't want it to be strikingly different. I want it to kind of be an evolution of what I was already kind of doing.
Right.
Because I think that being able to transition sounds is and doing it in a way that feels subtle is what I'm always going for.
Yeah.
Where ultimately it'll get there, but I either want to start with the sound that's striking, but if I'm developing something, it could kind of throw me off sometimes if the sound is just too different.
Right. Do you stack with that channel? Will you stack with the King of Tone at all?
I've definitely done it before. The reason why we want to do the effects loop, a number of reasons, but one of them is that once I hit like a delay or like a reverb or something,
It's washy.
to have that kind of be distorted is not my favorite thing.
Yeah.
I'll be like, whoa, what's going on there? I'll be like, oh, that's right.
Yeah.
So that's definitely going to be enhance the sound and allow me to kind of utilize that channel even more.
Yeah.
With everything else.
Because it's almost like that amp sounds so good already. It's like you just need a little bit more almost for your lead tones and stuff.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that. Let's talk about what you're using.
Cool, man.
I know when you were on the show, we talked a little bit about it, but
Yeah.
oh man, that Jamwa, man, that thing's awesome.
They're really cool.
What's your signal chain with all this stuff?
So we're going from the tuner here, and then we go to the wah, and then we're going to, or I lied to you, we're going from the tuner to the envelope, and then into the wah. It's a little bit crazy over here. And then goes to the H90, and that kind of goes through all of my overdrives. So it'll be the tube screamer, into the king of tone, into the compressor, and then it actually comes back to the H90 because it has a really cool like pre-post option.
Oh, cool.
So depending on like if I'm doing a delay, I could set to have those after the overdrives, which is a really nice feature for a multi-effects pedal.
Yeah, what are you mostly using the H90 for?
I use it for like a lot of like modulation stuff, kind of like vibe tones. Stuff like that. I like the phaser sound on there.
Oh, yeah.
And I use it for like an octaver. And I really like, this is kind of like an octave delay, so it's got two delays going on. One is like a lower octave and one is a higher octave. Like so I really like that a lot.
That's dope, dude.
There's one song that we have, Solid Ground, that I use this patch. It has like a hot switch so you can. So there's a lot of really cool sounds in there.
Yeah, man.
I think that Eventide kind of makes some of the best sort of sounds, digital sounds, and they're known for the rack units, and they found a way to really make all of that magic happen inside of the pedal. And what's really cool, I had the H9 for a really long time, and the H90 is cool because they've updated it where now you can do two of the algorithms simultaneously.
Yeah.
Which is huge.
Yeah, man.
To be
That's
able
what everybody was asking for, right?
Yeah, yeah, and the other big thing is that now they have tails in between effects. So like before, I would have to bypass a delay maybe on the pedal first, and then kind of time it out, switching to a different patch in order to have it kind of trail into it.
Yeah.
But now I can just be on any sort of sound, and it's naturally gonna just go. I can just select the next patch and don't have to worry about the delay cutting off or whatever.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're in some huge moment, and then to just kill the delay abruptly is always a little bit strange.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
So what's the Neutron? Like, what are you using? Like, that
So the Trutron was kind of, you know about that at all?
Yeah, a little.
Yeah,
little
so
bit.
Mike Beagle was kind of coming back with the brand. He's the original maker of the Neutron.
Right.
And so he did the Trutron kind of like as this opportunity for people to get So it's basically a lot of this. It's basically the same as the Mutron, but they added like a mix function and a couple other things to it. But kind of instead of doing like a Kickstarter, kind of made these available. They're limited. This is numbered or whatever. And now I think he actually sold the company. But
since he's done this?
Yeah, and
wow.
now they have like the Microtron and like the Micro Octaver and stuff like that. But this is a great pedal, and
yeah, dude.
so I mean I love the down setting, kind of like the laser. But then of course the classic sort of like. The thing I like about it a lot is you can really control like the release of the envelope, and because I always like it where it's like I always imagine like a bubble that's like a little slow to pop.
Yeah.
And kind of really like the attack of the pick is what allows you to kind of burst through the bubble. I like sitting kind of like in that like it's not quite bursting. It's just like sitting in this weird spot.
Yeah, it's not overly quacky.
Yeah.
And can I say this? I'm gonna butter you up for a second.
Yeah.
Out of all like the bands that I've been hearing using this stuff, like you seem to like have that nailed. Like that tone.
Yeah.
Like it's just like in like the stuff that you did on Watercolors, like that stuff is like spot on, like how I would want to hear somebody use an envelope filter.
Oh,
A lot
thanks,
of
man.
people, it's too quacky, or it's like, like you're saying the release is too quick or whatever.
Yeah.
But like you seem to figure out, like you've nailed it, man.
Thank you, man.
Yeah.
Hardly the first, and I've had a lot of great inspiration for how I hear that sound and stuff. And
That's great, man.
definitely, that pedal is the one that I can never forget if I'm changing guitars. Like if I switch to the Silver Sky or something, I have to go down there because that's the one that's most affected by change.
Yeah. I bet.
But it's a great pedal. I feel lucky to have caught it when it was out there.
Yeah, man.
It's one of those like freaky things where it's like it just now I would not be able to afford for whatever people sell them on.
Yeah,
Reverb
it's
or
nuts,
whatever.
dude.
It's crazy how pedals can just. I mean, somebody will do something cool with even like a pedal that was selling for like. What was it, like the Brass Monkey pedal or what was it called?
Bad Monkey.
Bad Monkey.
Yeah, that whole thing.
They used to sell for like $30, and now they're like $300
Yeah.
pedals. So I mean, that's what's cool about gear, though, is that anything can have an opportunity and find its space, and seemingly when somebody does something cool with it, all of a sudden people are into it.
Well, now you're going to be responsible for pushing that a little harder
Yeah,
in the
we'll
market.
see. Yeah, we'll see. And then so after that we go. So it's a little bit of like a boomerang thing here. I go the Thermae into the Tonal Recall.
Yeah, is that so? What were you using? Like you guys did green earrings, right? Am I wrong with that?
Yeah.
What were you using on that? That was nuts.
Like the sounds you were getting out.
Yeah, so that's the Mood.
Okay.
And that's probably another pedal that I will hype up. It's probably my favorite pedal of all time.
Look at that.
It's just the Chase Bliss stuff is just insanely musical, and what I really like about certain sounds and what I'm always going for with pedals is that I want something that feels interactive. I want something that kind of changes my mindset and allows me to like play with the pedal almost as like a secondary performer. I think that's like the coolest thing, is to kind of get me out of my own space. And so the Mood, and they've since come out with a second version that I actually want to get and actually have both on the board. But
Man, you do love that pedal, dude.
I love it, man. It's so the one I was using on Green Earrings is this patch.
Is this a preset you made?
It's one that they have like as a suggested preset, but I kind of did my own tweaking to it. For a long time I used this sound. I had kind of dry signal with the wet signal, and now with this I kind of went full. And a lot of people have been asking me about this, and I've been like a little hesitant. But I'm excited to share that I just turned the mix all the way up, and so you can't hear any of the dry tone, and just kind of. It's cool, and I think one of the coolest parts about it is this pedal in general is that it's the only delay pedal that I've heard of that has like a quantizer in the pedal. So it's always listening, and so if things kind of move one way or another, and sometimes I gotta be really on, because sometimes if my rhythm is kind of, I'm not executing it as well as I want to be, the pedal's listening to those subtle nuances, and it can get chaotic.
Alex is like, yo, what are you doing?
Yeah, right? Yeah. He's like, oh, this fucking guy. But when it's on, it's really, really cool. And I mean, the pedal's got some really, really beautiful tones with, I like to open a lot of shows with this kind of like. I like that one a lot. They help a lot of the sounds that I like here. And the reason why I have it after the blooper is because I can kind of do some cool stuff with
Dude, I think I gave up on that pedal too quick. I had one. I had a mood, and I was like, I don't know how to use this. Like, I feel like a dummy. You know what I mean?
The pedals, so the one that I'm most reluctant to say that I've so the Thermae, I've had a real hard time. I've heard people do really, really cool stuff. I love what I use it for. I use it kind of just for like a very tucked back delay sound. But it's so much deeper than that like I remember emailing them being like, I need to hop on like the phone with you guys or video chat or something, because the mood, it definitely took me a while to kind of find exactly how I wanted to dial it in. But like every little, I could tell what different things were doing. So to find like what I ultimately landed on was a journey, kind of like any pedals. You just tweak and tweak, but it was just so inspiring as soon as I started using it, and was able to kind of navigate it a little bit, even if it was chaotic. But the Thermae, I mean, so many people do really cool things with the pedal. Kind of has some more of those like upper octave, cool delay, kind of glitchy sort of stuff. And I'm not using it even close to 10% of its potential, but it really is a cool pedal. And
I feel like, have you listened to Ariel's new record?
Yeah.
You know that one track? I think that's the Thermae on it.
Yeah.
It's that weird, what is that song called? I Wish We Never Met? That track.
Yeah.
I think that's the pedal he's using, right?
Yeah, he loves that stuff. Joey Landreth loves the Thermae.
Yeah.
And it's a really, really, really cool pedal.
Do you have any fuzz on this board at all?
So I have the Bart, the Sunface Bart by Analog Man, and I love the sound of it. I am one step away from hopefully getting like a rack or something with like a bigger controller.
Nice.
I've been using the Morningstar. I haven't mentioned that, but that's been a great. I've been utilizing MIDI since I got that, and it's been really awesome to kind of reach more potential with the pedal and with the pedal board, and kind of navigate things quicker. Not have to do so much scrolling.
Yeah, man.
But I'm running out of space, and I'd love to have more stuff at my feet, and also less stuff at my feet at the same time.
Yeah.
So I love the Fuzz, but I had gotten the H90, and it's a little bit bigger than the H9, and I was like, man, I got
real estate is gone.
Yeah, man. I mean, I always think that I could kick this guy to the bottom, that's just like a controller for transmitting MIDI through TRS.
Oh, okay.
So I could probably put that on the bottom, and that's like disaster area, but I put my Pug Dancing Bears on there. Yeah, man, but I could probably squeeze one more on here, and then I should really figure out what my next move is.
Yeah.
But it's a big leap to switch to like a rack and have a big controller.
Oh
like
my
that.
God, yeah, dude.
But
most of your overdrive's coming from the modded Tube Screamer, the King of Tone, and the O-Amp, the 29 pedals one.
Yeah, so that is kind of like a sweetener. So it's like last in the chain, and it's kind of just like, they call it like an output amplifier, and it just kind of takes everything. What I like is I had a compressor. I used this compressor a bit, the Analog Man compressor, but just every so often. But I used to have to use a compressor to kind of like balance all of the pedals, and I just wasn't a fan of the always on compressor. And this has actually been like a really nice alternative, that it seemingly gets a nice balance between all the pedals, but I don't have to worry about like losing clarity or just kind of like squashing the sound at all. It actually just seems like an enhancer. So that's my always on type of thing, and I have to kind of turn it off every now and then, not during a show, but just to be reminded, because I'll be like, what does this even do anymore, you know? But
Jesse's awesome, dude.
yeah, you got a chance to.
Yeah, he was on my show. I have the Una, which I think I was completely shocked at how, I was like, how is this going to make my 2-Rock sound better? And it did. And I was like, whoa, dude, like this is like legit, like a nice kind of studio grade piece of gear.
Yeah, I would probably, if I had some more real estate, I'd probably tag team it with the front and back.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people love the Una, and yeah, it's one of those weird things where it's hard to totally explain what it sounds like, other than that you just have your own relationship with it. You put it into your rig and you tweak a couple things, and I haven't met a single person that hasn't said that their stuff sounds better.
Yeah.
So it's very cool.
I mean, it's also too. Do you feel like it's more of a feel thing than a sound thing, like under your hands?
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Yeah, that makes sense for sure.
Yeah. It's dope.
Yeah,
dude.
man. And then I use the Supermoon for a reverb, and
Is that Earthquaker?
it's Mr. Black.
I don't know
It's,
that
out of
company.
Portland, Oregon, and I kind of use it just for a normal sort of sound, but you can really. The sway knob makes it really creepy and weird and warbly.
Good sounding spring though. When you just had like that spring sound. It was
Yeah,
great.
yeah. I really like it, and it's kind of been on there for a while.
Yeah, man.
It's one of those things with pedals where you kind of just find something, and I don't know about you, but if I like it, I just don't know. It's nice to try out new stuff.
It's kind of nice.
But-
You have the luxury that you don't have enough time to keep trying stuff out, so you find what you like and you stick with it.
Yeah.
So it's not like option paralysis all the time.
Yeah, I mean, Mike knows because I always sign up Mike, our bass player, to do pedal board overhaul with me,
Yeah.
and it's a nightmare. I mean, it's sometimes changing one pedal, depending on what it is, like everything needs to come off, and you need to reroute the whole thing.
Yep.
And he's much more equipped to handle that type of thing than I am. So
Patience-wise, or
patience-wise, and he's like a good problem solver.
yeah.
And maybe it's the patience thing. you
Is
know?
that his part of the band? You think like he wears that crown?
I think he wears that crown. He's really, really sharp dude, and like with MIDI, I was so intimidated by the prospect of doing MIDI, and I'm like, what are all these messages and all these types of things, and he kind of cracked the code on that. And with the H90, I tried to transfer all my sounds from the H9 to the H90, and we were both like banging our heads against the wall. But he had a stronger threshold for the learning curve than I did.
He broke through the barrier,
He
figured
broke
it
through
out.
The barrier. Yeah, man.
That's dope, dude.
Yeah.
Well, this is awesome, man. I mean,
Thank you.
You sound great per usual. Is this the same thing, like basically the same rig that you had for New Year's, and then for like when I saw you guys down the street this summer?
Yeah, so I actually just connected right before New Year's with Mike from Analog Man. We're still in a little bit of reverb mode, and I was using the Tanabe, like the Domkudo pedal, which is like a really great overdrive, but I used to feel like when I was younger that I could like enjoy the space, the lead tone area for longer, and I was finding with that pedal over time, I was like, man, I'm having a hard time staying in this space, and I'm getting like fatigue, like,
Oh, interesting.
and I hooked up with Mike and I tried the King of Tone, and I remember the first jam I ever used with it, I was like, man, I could live here for much longer and feel like I can sit with this tone. And I mean, it's a great, so I got that and the compressor right before, and then I had ended up getting the Therme since then, and then the H90.
Okay. I mean, it hasn't drastically changed.
No, nothing too crazy, but I think that's the key with pedals, is that whatever you do, make small changes.
Yeah.
I think that it's like anything. It's if you switched up too much, you kind of only partially learn each thing that you have, and I think that you don't really know. I've done it before where I've gotten 3 pedals and I'm like, I don't know what I like, what's totally doing what, and it's nice to kind of just slow your roll a little bit, try different things out, and kind of see how it fits in your rig.
Yeah.
Especially when you're playing with a band, it's like I've tried guitars, I've tried pedals that I was like, man, I love this, and then put it in the context with the band,
And
it just doesn't work the same way.
Man, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, experimentation, I guess, my friend.
Yeah.
Well, this is killer. And
Yeah,
then,
man.
so what strings do you use? I don't know that I've ever talked to you about that.
So I use the Diodario, the NYXL strings.
Okay. Coated.
Yeah, and I got to connect with them, and that's been great to
Nice.
be able to kind of.
How many gigs are you getting out of those? Until you feel like, ugh, I need to change them.
I try and change them more often than I need to. I don't really break strings as much anymore. After a festival or something like that, it's like the grossest
Yeah.
thing you could ever play. And so that for sure, next day I'm changing the strings. But I probably change my strings every few shows.
Okay.
Not necessarily because I need to, but paranoia of this is the time that I break the string. And,
Are you traveling with 2 guitars right now? Or just
yeah, I
one?
travel with the Silver Sky as well,
Okay.
which is an amazing guitar.
Yeah.
I really, really love that guitar.
Sound great on both of them, dude. So,
Thank you, man.
It's awesome. Well, thanks for doing this.
Thank you. I didn't know I was the first of this
You're the
kind.
first time, yeah.
It's an honor,
I want to
man.
give it a try, man. See when people are coming through town. But you guys, I've become a fan. You know that, so I wanted to hear about what was going on.
Yeah,
So,
man.
It's cool.
Always
Aren't you?
down to talk about guitar.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
All right, man. Thank
Cool.
you.